Hello, and welcome back to the Animal Wisdom World Summit. This is the place for animal lovers and spiritual seekers to connect with the wisdom of all kinds of animals, from family pets to wild animals to animal spirit guides. I'm your host, Dr. Kara Gubbins, founder of the Animal Wisdom Circle and creator of How to Talk to Your Pet, the proven 4-step system that teaches anyone and everyone how to connect intuitively with their pets or with any animal. And today I'm really excited to be having P. Horsley joining us to talk about listening to the wisdom of all animals. P. Horsley is the UK's most highly regarded animal communicator. She's a TEDx speaker, a grounded teacher, an empowering mentor, and the best-selling author of 3 books, Heart to Heart, The Animal Communicator's Guide Through Life, Loss, and Love, and Animal Communication Made Easy. P teaches internationally and has guided thousands of people to get back in touch with their intuition and develop their skills in animal communication. P also runs ethical wild animal retreats around the world. Drawing on her childhood love and compassion towards animals, P's passion is to bring deeper understanding and greater empathy towards other species and help people rekindle a profound connection with the natural world. You can find her online at animalthoughts.com. Welcome, P.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, and hi everybody listening.
It's so great to have you here, and I think we are in for a real treat because you've given me a little bit of a preview of what you're going to be sharing with us, and it really is directed to the situation that we're in right now, this very moment. So as we're recording this, it is the fall of 2020, and many of us have been in some degree of lockdown due to the coronavirus pandemic for months. And you had, as an animal communicator, a very interesting response to the pandemic and to being locked down. Can you tell us all how you responded to the lockdown?
I certainly can. So I arrived home from Hawaii, and 7 days later we went into lockdown. I'd literally been on this beautiful beach, turquoise water, with whales, dolphins, manta rays, sharks, octopus, you name it. And then I was told, you're in lockdown. And what I believe, because the animals have taught me this, is that we can react in 2 ways. We can react from a place of fear or a place of love. And I chose absolutely to react from a place of love. And so what I did is I remembered why I'm here. And I said to them, how can I best be of service to you? I put that out as an intention to the animal kingdom. How can I best be of service to you? And what I received in response was, we want to talk to people. So what I did was, okay, so how does that look? And they kind of like, we want to talk to as many people as possible. And it took me about 2 weeks to work through my own stuff about how I could step forward and connect with people the most. And then after that 2 weeks, what I did is I did what they asked of me, and I became the translator, you know, the person that brings through the messages from species. And there was a different species every week coming forward to share their message with human beings. And it's incredibly moving and very powerful.
So how did you choose which animals that you would connect with each week?
Yeah, okay, so I didn't choose. I had absolutely no say in it whatsoever. And it was very animal-like. It was, they decided and they would tell me last minute. There was no planning or preparation involved. It was, often I would find out the morning of me being live across Facebook and Zoom to thousands of people. So I think it was probably a really good idea to do it like that. So I couldn't get in my own way. I just had to be present. I had to be open, and I had to just allow that animal to share whatever they wanted to share.
And what kind of messages did they share with people?
So I think what would be great is to give you some examples. So what we'll do is we'll start with the dolphins because they're so much fun. And they were really excited to form these connections with people. And I'm going to read out just a couple of pages from it. And it might sound a bit like a meditation, but it's absolutely not. It's communication. It's the oversoul of the dolphins communicating precisely what they want you, the human listener, to experience. And it's interactive. So all of these communications were very interactive. So I'll share this one and then you can see what you make of this. And it starts a little bit funny. Don't worry, that's me. Greetings. There is so much we want to share with you. We want to be in your hearts. We want to jump in and out of the ocean, surrounding you in our love. We wish you were here with us right now. But this will do. This is another chance to be close with you. And we want to be close with you. We want to be so close with you. We want to play with you. We want to spin you round. We want to be in your hearts. We want to bring you so much joy because that is how we feel. We are so joyful and we have so much love for you. And we want to be in your hearts and allow this love to burst out of your being, out, shining bright as beams of cold light, shining, beaming out from your heart, because we have so much love for you. We love you. We love you. So that's kind of what the dolphins share, and the rest of that communication, they actually asked people to like put a dolphin into their heart and have this incredible experience where they get to meet their own dolphin as well.
What was people's response to the dolphin message?
Oh my God, they loved it. They absolutely loved it. And some people actually had these big healing moments where, because of the joy and because of that interaction with their own dolphin, which literally took them swimming in the ocean, that they worked through so much fear and sort of blockages. Yeah, the dolphins are very, very good at healing on a deep level, for sure. And I thought it was clever that they
joy changes everything, right?
Changes everything. They also shared 3 gifts actually, which I'll just share because these are great. The first is move. Moving is a way to express our being. It is a vital way of releasing tension and energy that gets stuck within our physical form. 2, spin. Spinning is a way to increase your connection to source. It is a way to enter other dimensions. Spinning is an ally. Look at children who spin. Spinning is joyful. Spinning heightens your energy. 3, be with us often. We hold joy like an anchor. Joy is able to transform fear, able to transform anxiety. So they came up with messages like that.
Which is like just the medicine so many of us need right now.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It's so far removed from fear and anxiety, which could be experienced during this time that they're going through. Yeah.
What other animals came forward?
So we had the felines, so lion, cheetah, jaguar, and also the domestic house cat came forward. And also there was a communication from Cleopatra, who I first met when I was speaking at a Lionhearted leadership event with Linda Tucker and Winter Warthorn, who you have as part of this summit. But I'm going to hold on to that because I think that's something really special that we can share later. Also the whales. So the whales introduced a really interesting point of feeling safe. So this is quite interesting for anyone that's not feeling safe right now during this period. This is just a couple of pages, probably take 2 minutes. Breathe and relax. Breathe and relax. This is a time for going deep into your personal space, your sacred sanctuary, the bubble of light where you feel perfectly held, understood, safe. The truth is, there is nowhere where you are not safe, because your soul is always part of one consciousness, and therefore you are always safe, held, and understood. This concept may feel too large for you in this moment, but we invite you on a journey into self-discovery, self-reflection, and self-enhancement. We whales are the deep thinkers of the planet, and we have many lifetimes and many experiences across this globe, which enable us to understand concepts from many angles and at many levels. We are more than creatures that swim in water. We are more than a tourist attraction for those who like to watch. We are more than the storybooks and the songs and the imaginings that many of this planet seem to project out onto our being. We are more than this. Because of the lifetimes, because of the experience, because of the aspects and many layers and levels of consciousness which we inhabit. And this is the time for us to share some of these teachings with you. And we understand that you are here to learn. You are eager to learn. Some may call you seekers, but we call you adventurous, because you are willing, able, and desiring a concept of your planetary experience which is beyond common knowledge. We speak to you as a collective, and then we will divide down into aspects of our energy for you to have further depths of experience. So now is the time to picture, imagine the ocean out in front of you. The water is calm. And strangely, just below the surface, because this is not the normal experience, but we are not in the normal experience now. We are shifting fast, fast. Just below the surface are many, many, many whales of different species. Many different whales, but more than this. Many whales of different timelines, different linear time. And this may surprise you that we are still together as one collective. But when you understand that energy does not exist, energy is all existing across space and time, then this makes sense that we are still together as one collective, one family, one consciousness. And this is what as whales love to speak of the most, the aspects of consciousness. This is more than simply being awake. This is having further reaches, further understandings of how your individual consciousness is the same as my individual consciousness. As a collective, we have one speaker to P to make it easier for her relay, but for you to understand who the speaker is in this moment, the visual is of a sperm whale. And we know that P was surprised when we first told her that this would be the energetic frequency that appeared to her because of her complete lack of experience with this particular species. But this is why trust is important. And we are teaching trust not only to you, but to P herself. We are each on a journey, humble, honored, seeking to fulfill our soul's wish for expansion.
If that's not a paradigm shift, I don't know what is.
And that's just the start of that, you know, that goes on. That's just 2 pages.
Wow. Wow. So
Yeah.
P, how does it feel to you to be the channel for this information as opposed to just a recipient listening? Is there a different experience to have this moving through you than it would for us to just hear the words?
Good question. When I receive them, I'm literally sitting on the floor in my living room. I've got my recorder set up in front of me. I literally just open up, have the intention of being the receiver. I'm ready. And sometimes I'm sitting there for a minute, and sometimes they are straight in. And what I find when I'm receiving them is that my voice changes. The pauses that they put in are so intentional, as the energy of what they're conveying or what they're asking a human to experience is experienced. And I sometimes find myself feeling very emotional, and sometimes I'm having like ripples of energy through me. And that sort of raw communication from them is incredibly powerful, I find.
Do you think that because you're able to hold the energy and be the channel for this energy, do you think that you're transforming maybe at a faster rate than somebody who is maybe one step removed? Because I hear how the energy of the experience is conveyed in the pauses, in the words, in the emphasis. But do you think there are some of us who are, leading in a different way and transforming faster to become even more effective leaders during this crazy time that we're in?
I certainly think there are individuals stepping up to that. Yes, I think there's a lot of free will in it. You know, whether we want to, on an individual level, engage in that. I don't think there's any way that we're forced to at all. You know, it's whether we as an individual wish to engage. I don't know how you find it, but when I hold my retreats for people with the wild animals, I find that it feels like, I mean, I couldn't say, but it feels to me as though I just move on 10 steps whenever I hold one of those, because it's not just for those individuals attending, and they certainly have massive life changes with these animals in direct contact, but I do too. You know, when I go back into the ocean with the dolphins for the 4th time, you know, the 4th year, I've moved on. I am not the person of 4 years ago at all. I have massively moved on. And I don't know about you, but I also engage with fear, my fear. So I had a fear of sharks. I kind of understood it was really social conditioning, because I'd never had a bad experience with a shark in my life. So what I decided to do was that I was going to work with it. So I purposely scheduled to go in the ocean free swimming with sharks. And that was a life changer. So for me, you know, every time I feel there's a barrier to my personal expansion, so that I can be in a better place to serve the animal kingdom, which is why I've incarnated at this time into this form, then I will work with it. And sometimes it's not easy, you know.
I know for me, it's like, oh, it's a great idea. And then I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to do that. Do I have to? I said I would.
Yeah, I know. But we're human, you see.
Exactly. So what I'm really getting from what you're sharing here is that it is a process. There's a transformation that happens. It's almost like every time you dip your toe into that intuitive, energetic connection with the animals, there's a shift and a change. And that can have ripple effects into the future as well.
Yeah, definitely. And it doesn't have to be wild species. It can be domestic animals. You know, it can be the insects. It can be the birds. I think the more we engage with the truth of life is that we are all connected and that everything can communicate, we evolve, we transform. Yeah.
So how many other animals have you now communicated with in this particular series since the pandemic began?
So that was a different species each week. But for example, on the week 2, we had felines, and actually we had the lion, we had cheetah, we had jaguar, we had domestic cat, and then we had Cleopatra. So that was a big week. We also had insects. So we had ant showed up, then the bee, then the spider. With bears, we had grizzly bear and polar bear. So, you know, it depends. It just depends on them. And what I really felt, and people that engage with this felt this too, is that they literally took us on a journey. They decided, oh, you're ready for this now. You need to hear this now. We need to come in because you need some healing around that. You know, it's just, I say it's amazing, but at the same time, I know in my soul that it's perfectly normal that they know what they're doing.
I have found the same thing. They always know more than I do. And the more I try to figure out with my brain, the more trouble I get into. If I just open up to that bigger, more omnipotent, more all-knowing kind of intelligence that's out there, the more I learn and the more things change in a positive way for me.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's so exciting, isn't it? You know, and it's so, I mean, I just love it. At moments it can be probably a little bit, ooh, a bit scary, but mainly it's just incredible.
It really, it becomes kind of like, I don't want to say addiction because that's not the right word at all, but it's this adventure, and you get that sense of discovery over and over again. And that's what I keep coming back for, is that being in that place of not knowing and discovering something new about the world, about myself, about a species, about any of it. And that's, I think, to me, the big draw, you know, that's the exciting part for me.
Yeah, exactly. But I just feel like I don't know it, or, you know, even just when was it? 2 months ago, gorillas came forward, and I thought, well, I've had an experience with a silverback in a zoo, but I've never met them in the wild. I've kind of like, I really don't know much about you guys at all. And that was such a powerful sharing from them. And I discovered a subspecies of gorilla I'd never even heard of, you know. And so I think that's what's wonderful about just being incredibly open to the animal's wisdom, and just putting yourself as like an empty vessel and just going, you know, fill me up. I'm ready to be filled up. Whatever you wish to share with me, whatever you wish to teach me, however you can advise me or guide me, I am completely open to that. That invitation means that there's going to be an incredible engagement from whichever species wants to engage with you, you know.
So would that be like a tip for people in the audience who want to do this as well, like to get started, to just become that open, curious vessel for something to show up?
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's as simple as quietening your mind and having the intention to connect. Because the animals will pick up on that straight away. I mean, you can have the intention, I would like to connect with gorillas, or you can just sit there and have the intention, I wish to connect with any species that wishes to come forward to me now. Or if you want to bring it down to, you know, there's a bird in your garden you want to communicate with, you know, just say, I'd love to communicate with you. I would really love to engage with you. Have that intention, and then wait. And then they have the free choice of whether they do or they don't. It depends how busy they are, whether they can be bothered, you know, what else is going on in their eye.
I love that. You said two things that I want to just really kind of reiterate is, number one, wait. It's not always instantly that it happens. And number two, if you don't receive anything, it doesn't mean that you failed. It just may mean they're just not interested, and there's somebody, you know, go ask somebody else or something like that.
Just because you as the human have decided this is the time and that is the particular species that you want to connect with right now does not mean that they've been waiting for you to wake up to have that, you
Like,
know,
oh,
that
yay, now you're
desire.
ready. Let me
You're
drop
ready.
everything.
I'm here. I'm ready for you. I know, it's funny.
Are there other messages that you think you'd like to share with us to help people who are, we're all still in the middle of this pandemic and the varying degrees of lockdown. What's another animal message that you think will be helpful for people to hear right now?
Let me think. I wonder whether, I think we'll go to sharks. Because the sharks talked about fear and sensitivity, and I do think empaths are particularly sensitive to the very strong fear consciousness that's across the globe at the moment. And the sharks also talk about light, and they give, this is 2 pages, they give a method to help humans locate the fear and to let go of it. So even though this is actually a 9-page communication, I can read you the first 2 because they give you that right at the start. Welcome. We are sharks. Many species, hundreds. Our species of sharks present with you. We are in our ocean home and you on land. But shortly we will come together. But for now we have another request of you. We wish to take you into what it is you fear. What it is you fear. This may surprise you that this is our direction. But you have to understand that we encounter so much human fear, projected out onto us, that before we come together, before we encounter each other, we first need you to release and let go of any barriers you may be feeling or holding within your cellular structure about our species. Because we have been greatly misunderstood for many, many, many years. Can you imagine now what it would feel like to be misunderstood? For others to think of you in a way that you know you are not. Have you ever experienced a moment when a projection was placed on you, which was totally unjustified and untrue? How did you feel at this projection? What was your response? This is just a minute expression of what we feel globally projected to us by your species. And we do not blame you. We do not hold blame at all. Because we are aware that you are still growing. And there is limited awareness within your society and structures at this time. And as exceptionally light beings, we see a much wider perspective, a much clearer vision. So we do not hold it against you as a species. But we do know that for you as individuals in this gathering, for us to come together effectively, any fear that may be held within your cellular structure, self-emanating or absorbed from external sources, is best released and gone. So we invite you now to self-reflect on whether you embody a fear of sharks, of us, and is that fear justified? Maybe you are not aware of where it originated from. That is okay. Just enter into self-awareness of your perception of our species and question whether that is justified. Is that your personal experience? We imagine that many of you would find it difficult to release what you don't understand. And we honor you in that awareness. We do honor you. We also invite you, if you feel able, to create an image of any fear of us, our species. Within your body, create an image like a ball of density. And then, wherever that is positioned within yourself, just move it with your hands and raise it up to the light. And allow the light to do the work and to transform the density into lightness, freedom, expansion, love.
Wow, I loved that. I loved that. What, like, inspiring, but also really practical. We can all really do that and have that physical transformation happening on that energetic level, I guess. I love that reminder to just let the light do the work. I love that phrase.
Yeah, like that, let the light do the work. And I think you can apply that, obviously, not just to the fear of sharks, but any sort of fearful situations or fear that you may have with environments or with other beings, you know, human beings. It's a great leveler, I think.
It's a great reminder that we have the power to manage whatever situation we're in, but also we have connection to a power that's even greater than us, and we don't have to do it ourselves. So it's like, yeah, we're bigger than we think, and we're small too at the same time, but it's both good news.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, we human beings are so powerful, and it's all from here, you know, it's all from the heart, it's all from our love and our compassion. If you come from those places, you are an incredibly powerful being.
Absolutely. Yeah. P, I know you're going to come back and do a bonus interview with us about ways to change your future. I'm guessing it's going to be connecting with animals for guidance in some way, but we're going to get more details about that. Before we do that, do you have any final words that you want to share with us as we wrap up this part of the program?
Yeah, so I think I'll just tie it into what we're experiencing. So for me, this is a huge period of change happening on many levels, and change can feel uncomfortable. And we're certainly going through this period of massive change together. You know, this is a collective change. It's involving all humans, animals, nature, planets. And I pulled up a quote by Eckhart Tolle, which I absolutely love. So he said, "The universe is moving towards consciousness. We are a microcosm of the divine universe. We are here to become more conscious. This is the role of the universe." And one way I think to feel anchored within the growth changes is to do regular communication practice. And I mean, of course, I'm going to say that I'm an animal communicator, but I really do believe it, that you will also feel safer and you'll feel supported, you know, by the other species and by nature, and everything will start to make more sense. So rather than going, you know, I can't get that close to you, I've got to wear my mask, I've got to sanitize my hands, you know, and all that stuff, you start to actually have real connection about what is going on, what am I experiencing? I'm not in this by myself. There is a larger picture, and there is support out there. I really believe coming together as a community to engage with animals' communications is very powerful. After I did a global transformation series that the animals asked me to do, I set up a membership called the Pride, because the humans wanted those sharings to happen and the animals wanted those sharings to happen. And so that's another invitation to people, you know, if you would like to engage on this level with me, bringing these messages through from the different species, and for you to communicate with them and experience your own individual personal connection with them, there is also that for you. And I invite everyone here to join that if that interests you. My final message, I think, is just say this mantra with me: my potential is unlimited. My potential is unlimited. My potential is unlimited. And take that home. If you take nothing else home, take that one home.
It's beautiful. My potential is unlimited as well. I love that. It feels so good.
Yeah, that's what you say. So you would say, my potential is unlimited. Everybody listening, say with me, my potential is unlimited. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no place we can't go. There's so much more out there, and so much support and leadership for that when we look to the animals to lead us in whatever direction we want to go. P, thank you so much for being here. I know you've given a couple of hints about what you have available for people. The communications, the conversations you had with animals that started with the lockdown turned into the global transformations, which has turned into the Pride. So people can access that. You're offering a really lovely 25% discount for people there. If you're part of the summit, you can get 25% off a P's program. And I know you also are going to offer an MP3 of the whale communication, the whole whale communication that we started with earlier on. You want to tell people about that as well?
Yeah, so it literally will be an MP3 audio file which you can download, keep for live, play for as many times as you like. The whale communication is 33 minutes long. It goes really deep, as you would expect from the whales, and their big message is all about growth and expansion. So that's a really big sort of soul transformational communication from them.
That sounds really beautiful. And of course, we have a button on the viewing page to get people over to P's website to get both of those opportunities, to take advantage of both of those opportunities. And I want to remind everybody in our audience that you can get your all access pass to listen to this interview with P again, to catch her bonus interview and all the other interviews in the summit. You get lifetime access to everything in the Animal Wisdom World Summit with your all access pass. We have a button on this viewing page to go ahead and get that upgrade, and the price does go up after the summit ends, so act now so you don't miss out and you get the best value. And one more time, I want to thank you, P. Horsley, for being here and being part of the Animal Wisdom World Summit today.
And I want to thank you for creating it. You know, your vision is brilliant. The fact that you are bringing us all together, connecting us so that we can co-create together is fantastic. So I'm very grateful to you. Thank you.
Thank you. And thanks everybody for being here and being part of the community. Come on over to the Facebook group and let us know how these messages from the animals that P shared with us today, how they're affecting you. How do you see yourself differently? How do you see the world differently? What can you do differently? We would love to hear about it. And I guess until we see you next time, just keep following the wisdom of the animals. Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.